Vanessa, thank you so much for being on the Visionary Life podcast today. It's fun because I get to test the video format with you since you were willing. And I know so many of the listeners have been wanting to listen and watch the episodes on YouTube. So thank you for being one of our guinea pigs finally in the 100th episode of the podcast. I realize video now more than ever is so important. And I cannot wait to learn all about how you started the ladies community and just all the wonderful things you're up to. So thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Now they get to see our faces.
Yes, they do. It's kind of fun, right? Because it can feel
right?
like they're actually just hanging out with us, not just listening to us in their earbuds.
Exactly, girl time.
I'd love for you to just start by sharing a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
So my name is Vanessa Ortali. I am the founder of the ladies community and Heart and Mind Talks online. So all I do, and maybe all I do, very generic, is I help bring together women. I help them to get in tune with themselves and connect them with one another. Because I believe that's basically the mission behind everything that I do, because I started the ladies community to connect people in person. But then realizing that there was more to it. People were seeking community, sometimes for the wrong reasons, when they really needed to turn inward. And I believe that if we connect with ourselves first, it enables us to have better connection with others and better connections with the community, our relationships, friends, partners, whatever it is. And so, so that's what I do. And I do that through one-on-one coaching and events, live and online. So it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. That is such an interesting anecdote that you share, that sometimes people think they need community, but they actually need to go inwards. I feel like that was me 5 or 10 years ago when I was such an extrovert and I filled every moment of my time with being at social events, but I was neglecting understanding like why that was or what I really wanted to do. So that really resonated with me. I've never put that into words before.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and you think, like I need more friends, or I want a relationship, or I want a community, I always encourage you to ask yourself, what are you looking for in others? Are you looking for a common word that I often get is loyalty or spontaneity? And I always say, write a list of all the things you're looking for from a community and friends or whatever. And then in the second column, I need you to think about how can you start giving those things to yourself? Because when we're looking for loyalty from a friend, like, what does that mean? Well, when I asked people, they said it would mean, they want people to respond to their emails and they want to go out with people. Well, have you taken yourself out on a date? Do you tune into yourself and ask yourself questions when you're not in a good mood? Like, it's nobody else's job to make you feel good, only your own.
Oh, that's so good. I love that you shared that exercise. And I think that's a really important one for people to go through. Now, have you always been an entrepreneur, or take us back? What was your prior life? Or did you just dive in by starting the ladies community from the time you graduated school?
Yeah, I'm the typical air quotes entrepreneur when they say, you were kind of born with it. I started every business I could when I was younger. The lemonade stand, the fundraising at school, selling things to my neighbors. The funniest entrepreneur story I have is when I was young, I literally auctioned off my brother's Easter chocolates to the neighbors and sold it. And I came back with like $50 and my parents are saying, where the heck did you get that money? So I enjoyed doing it, but I always liked looking for different opportunities and to look at, okay, what do people need right now and how can I help them? And how can I get them there? Not that they needed the Easter chocolates, but it was Easter, so I capitalized on it. I've always done different entrepreneurial things. And the ladies community actually started completely by accident because I, similar to what you were just saying, I was looking for a better connection with women. I wanted to connect with more entrepreneurs. All my friends were getting married and having children, and I was feeling quite alone and isolated. So I wanted to connect with other women and started a random meetup, and that's how the ladies community started.
And isn't that how any amazing business is started, right? You look for what's missing in the market, you look for a gap or something that you are trying to find but cannot find, and then say, well, if it doesn't exist, then I'm going to create it, right? So that's a very
Yeah.
cool story.
Yeah.
I think it's a testament to kudos to you for taking action, not just sitting and wallowing in your sorrows going, I wish I had friends who were like-minded, and instead saying, I'm going to take initiative to actually go create that community that I wish existed. And I think that's just a reminder for everybody who is kind of feeling like a victim of their current situation. You can be a part of the solution. So if Vanessa can inspire you, then definitely reach out to her.
Yeah. And I didn't go about saying I should create a community. So
Mm,
I just kept making the best next decision. So I
yes.
knew I wanted a meetup, period. In the beginning, it was literally just events. And the hardest thing for me, which is why I love what you do, Kelsey, is it was really difficult for me to take the ladies community and turn it into a business
Right.
because I wasn't in that headspace. I literally just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to meet people. So I had to reach out to people like you and different mentors to help create a business and build out my business plan and create a revenue structure that could actually sustain me while being of service to others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's I'm really glad you shared that about your journey, that you didn't go into it with the mindset of like, what's my business plan out of this? It started just as fulfilling a personal need, and then realizing, well, maybe now that I've done this for a couple of years, I can assess whether there is some sort of opportunity to expand the reach and grow the impact of the ladies community. So
Yeah, exactly.
for somebody listening who actually doesn't know what the ladies community is, can you just kind of give the quick elevator pitch?
Yeah, quick elevator pitch is we have an online community. It started on Facebook, but it's expanding obviously to Instagram and an online database. But it's a group of women who are looking for mostly professional and personal development. So
Mm-hmm.
they're looking to find mentors or other colleagues that are like minded. And I use that word, loosely because the word like-minded actually means you want to meet people exactly like yourself. And I
Yeah.
think the power comes from when we meet people who are different than
Yeah.
ourselves, but it's really just people looking to meet other women that they can grow professionally and personally with, and they are growth minded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that term, growth minded too. I don't know if you read that book, Growth Minded versus Fixed Mindset, I guess it is, but
I've heard of it, but I didn't read it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so because of what the current times have given us over the past 2 weeks, we're recording this on April 1st for context. And obviously, a lot has changed in the past 2 to 3 weeks. And I know a lot of the listeners, like you and I, have online businesses. So why don't we just begin by sharing, has anything really changed for you or really shifted in terms of your business in the past few weeks due to current events?
100%. Without sounding insensitive to what people are going through, because I know it is also a really tough time,
Yeah.
I am loving this time because it's
Mm-hmm.
a reminding me, it's actually bringing me to the beginning of my business. And
Yeah.
it's reminding me that I don't have the answers and I need to ask my community. So if you're out there and you're trying to build a business, you don't have to know anything, really. You just have to provide an offering and then continue to ask, what are your
Mm-hmm.
needs? What are you going through right now? What are your challenges? I do not know now we're almost up to 20,000 women in our community across the world. I don't know what they're all feeling like. So
Yeah.
in the beginning, I was thinking that it wasn't affecting them as much as it was, if I'm being completely honest. But because I kept asking them, where are you at? What's going through your mind right now? What are you struggling with? They were feeding to me the answers so that I knew what to give them to help them. And I
Mm-hmm.
think at the core of every entrepreneur, I hope we truly just want to help, and we want to use our gifts and our services to help other people wherever they're at. So you just have to know how to do that. So I've been constantly trying to adapt and working with my clients to just continuously ask their clients, like, what are your challenges right now? What do you need? How can I help you, and brainstorm and be part of the solution for you?
Mm-hmm. Such a good lesson in business, like what we're going through, because it's a reminder that your vision is probably always going to stay the same, like the core of why you started your business and who you want to serve. But the product can continually evolve, right? Because what people needed 3 weeks ago is not what they need today. And it sounds like you're really responding to that and adapting and kind of saying to your clients too, like, meet the current needs of what people are looking for, rather than just feeling like you have to offer one thing and it's the same as it was last year, because times have changed, right? And I think that that's a lesson we've really learned based on what's going on. So have you been thinking at all about the impact that this might have on your particular business? Or do you think you'll kind of remain in a similar position to where you were a month ago? What's going on in your head with respect to the impact that this could have to your business?
Yeah, so I was lucky because I was seeing the trend of virtual earlier before all of this coronavirus happened. I
Yes.
have gone virtual. I started a year ago, but my business is still going to look different in a month. Again, because I keep asking people what they need, and
Yeah.
I just keep making the next best decision. I
Hmm.
think that this time allows us to really reflect and be in alignment with our core values and truth. Like, just when you asked me in the beginning, what is my mission? My mission is to connect women to themselves and others. So I
Yep.
just keep asking, how can I do this in this time? What do they need? And I think if you stay true to your vision and you
Hmm.
know what you stand for, just ask yourself, like, what do I stand for? I personally stand for mindset is everything to me. I believe that if
Hmm.
your mind is strong, you're good. So in all of my posts and everything, I'm really sticking to master your mind. And then how do
Hmm.
we adapt and what questions do we need to ask ourselves to create a business? I think as women, we're sometimes scared to talk about money. We're scared
Hmm.
to build a business, but empowering women to start thinking about, it's okay for you to make money. It's okay for you to create a multi-million dollar business. When you create money, that's a reflection of the people that you've helped. And as long
Hmm.
as you're coming from a good intention, then I believe that we can still grow. But I think it's just going to continue to change, and I just keep making the next best decision for myself and my community.
Hmm. It reminds me of a book that I always share with my community called The Slight Edge. And it really does talk about that philosophy of it's just one small baby step at a time that compounds. And I think right now, a lot of business owners, they're in panic and they think they have to have accelerated their business into the online world perfectly in a matter of days. But the truth is, none of us have done that. It's been small baby steps over time, and really trying out Zoom calls for the first time and hosting your first webinar and probably failing a few times, right? And so it's just really riding that wave of showing up, listening to audience feedback, and seeing if your community's resonating with what those changes are, and just pivoting from there, right? It is a journey.
Yeah.
And I think that anyone who expects to just show up in this new light perfectly, it's never going to happen, right? We've all been taking one step at a time, whether you started a year ago or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 100%. When I do interviews of different experts and entrepreneurs and I ask them about their journey, they're 10 years into their journey. So if you were to think,
Hmm.
what is the next 10 years going to look like? We don't know. It's just one step at a time, like you said, and trying to enjoy the journey, which is really
Hmm.
hard sometimes because maybe entrepreneurs, from what I see, we're pretty attached to our outcomes and we're very
Yeah.
action oriented, which is good and bad. It's a balance that I always struggle with, and coming from a place of inspired action versus forced action. But
Hmm.
knowing that I just need to relax and enjoy the journey and connect with people. Right now, if you're not sure what your people need, put out
Hmm.
a survey, do free calls. I've been doing a lot of free calls with people to see the common questions that I'm getting so that you
Hmm.
can pivot. It's better for you to pivot properly and come out with a product and or service that your community is going to benefit from than just creating something overnight that isn't even going to sell. So it's just making about the smart, slow decisions, you know?
Yeah. And that's exactly the point that I want people to take away from this episode, is that if you're a small business owner, or if you were planning to start a business in the next year or two, don't panic because of what is going on right now. Simply listen. And like you said, do your market research and understand the current needs of your community, of your audience, and then sit back and think, what can I create to best serve them? And I like that you said it doesn't need to be something you build overnight. Like, the world is changing as we know it. So don't feel like you have to just like birth a new offer in a matter of minutes or days. Create something of good quality, of integrity, that you feel excited to launch anytime, whether it's still in this pandemic or when we get on the other side of it.
Yeah. And you can pre-launch something too. You can start selling something before you've even created it to know that people are going to buy it. Two of my favorite books that I've actually been anchoring into right now, which are right next to me. And they are The Go-Giver, which is like this red thing, and Launch. And so Launch talks about how to actually launch a product or a program. And the first step is always the pre-launch, is asking questions and getting people excited before a product that they even know is out there. So I'm always looking at, how do I just continue to engage and be providing value, you know?
It sounds like you've really used the past couple of weeks as an opportunity rather than as a chance to panic and to go completely crazy with watching the news. So is that something?
Oh yeah, I don't watch the news.
As you shouldn't, because you are a leader and you need to preserve your mindset right now. So do you have any tips for people who are feeling stuck in that fear and panic-induced mindset right now, when they should be maybe spending some extra time just exploring who they are in nature? How can we make that shift from panic and fear to just being a little more at ease through this time?
Yeah, this is awesome. I think this time it's great to reflect on what our clients need and what we can give them. But this is also a good time, like you're saying, to evaluate what are your needs? What do you want your life to look like? Are you actually happy? Maybe you're in a business and you're not happy, and you need to pivot, not just for your clients, but for you, because your ability to feel good is the most important thing. And so, I think if you're feeling anxious and nervous, this is about reprogramming your pathways and subconscious things that are going on in your mind. Things that are coming up in you right now have always been there. Now you're just more aware of them. So I always say number one is awareness. Be aware of what is going on in your mind. Be aware of your emotions. If you're feeling bad, negative, whatever that is for you, anxious, I want you to ask yourself, what was I just saying in my mind? What video, tape, thought process was going on in my mind in order to make me feel this way? Your emotions are a symptom of your internal dialogue. So this is an opportunity for you to get really clear on your internal dialogue and what's happening without your knowledge usually. And, we know, I used to read, and I still do, we read all the self-development books and self-help books, and we know everything. But until I actually got a coach to recognize that my internal dialogue was not what I knew, that's when I watched the movie. Do you remember the movie Inside Out? It's a cartoon.
Never heard of it.
Okay, so it's a cartoon. It's super cute. I think it's Pixar.
Okay.
And they depict the mind to have bubbles, like marbles. And all the marbles are, different colors. There's happiness, anger, whatever. I think there's about 5 of them.
Okay.
I watched this movie and I said to myself when I was watching this movie, oh my gosh, my marbles are blue, and blue is sadness. And so I want you to think, like, what are you actually feeling most of the time? And if you don't know what you're feeling most of the time, set your alarm on your phone to every hour, every 2 hours. And every time that alarm goes off, ask yourself, how do I feel right now? And when I did that, every time the alarm went off, I felt anxious or upset.
Mm,
And I knew, A, you know, things are going on in my mind that I'm not aware of.
interesting.
And that was my opportunity to change my pathways. So once you're aware and you can ask yourself, what was just going on in my mind? My
Mhm.
internal dialogue, Kelsey, was frankly shit.
It's so
It
sad
was, I
too.
know we're so mean to each other,
We
but to
are to
ourselves. Yeah.
ourselves. Yeah.
Ourselves. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, you're never going to do this. I can't believe it. This is pathetic. And I can understand why people are feeling like you're going to be screwed. You don't have enough money. You're never going to be
Yeah.
successful. So if this is what's going on in your mind, this is a chance to decide, is this an emotion or that I'm making reality? And is this the truth I want to be living in? And
Mhm.
usually not. You don't want to be living in that truth. Yes, that might be the reality that you're seeing, but it doesn't have to be your truth. So
Mhm.
now you get to choose and reprogram that pathway to be something different. Like, how do you actually want it to sound? And usually you want it to sound like, it's okay. We know that times are uncertain right now, and I
Yeah.
get it, but
Mhm.
we're going to choose something different. And how can we pivot? And how can we stand tall? And how can we be strong for others? And how can we help others? And how can we come together? It's so much more empowering.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, long answer, I just think that the first step is always awareness. Set
Yep.
that alarm, figure out what your emotions are, then ask yourself,
Mhm.
what are my thoughts? What is my thought process? And what do I want to change it to? And you just start reprogramming little bit by little bit so that you can choose a different way.
I love that. And I think, like you kind of touched on, this time that we're going through is really all showing us kind of the work that we've done in the past years, like how we are responding to what's going on in the world. And so for a lot of people, I know that what's shining through is that they are unhappy, they are anxious, they are feeling really unfulfilled in their job, they are feeling like they don't have the greatest friends or support network. And so I think a lot is coming to the surface for people. And so it sounds like you have invested in a lot of coaching and programs to help you get through these moments. So is that what you would suggest for someone who is experiencing a challenge and they don't know how to get through it themselves? They're just unhappy and not necessarily feeling like they're living their purpose or their best life. What would you say to them to begin getting out of that hole and to begin changing their life, essentially? Is it coaching?
Yeah, I think it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching was that link for me because I believe that coaching was able to point out my blind spots that I couldn't see.
Yeah.
It was able to show me what I didn't know I was doing. When you're stuck in a pattern, you don't always know you're stuck in a pattern.
Yeah.
So I was doing all the reading and it still wasn't helping me. So for me, it was coaching. I think
Mm-hmm.
reach out, invest in yourself, and start building patterns in your life. Start with a morning routine, start with an
Yeah.
evening routine, start getting in tune and more connected with yourself. I mean, I would ask you, write out, who is your highest self? What
Yep.
does he or she feel like? And how often are you showing up as your highest self? And how do you get more in tune with that highest self every day so
Mm-hmm.
that you can continue to show up as her, as him, whatever, in each moment? And now is just kind of showing, I believe, any cracks that you have in the foundation.
Yeah.
And now is your chance to strengthen and solidify that foundation so that you can continue to step up as a leader in your life and in your relationships.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of foundations and patterns and routines, what are some of the most impactful or powerful routines that you have right now that are allowing you to lead through this crisis with such grace and calmness?
Yeah, so I believe in routines, but I talk about them gently because I think sometimes we set up a really strict routine that sets us up for failure, and then we feel like shit when we don't do it.
Mhm.
So, what I always say is create a list of alignment. And what that means is I have a list of things that bring me into my best self. And
Mm-hmm.
every morning and every night, I just have my alignment time. And I can choose whatever I want on that list, like whatever resonates with me.
Love
So,
it.
I go for walks. I go for a walk every day. Breath work is really big for me. Tea, like it's so simple, but tea it
Yeah.
really connects me. I just slows me right down. When I have a cup of tea, it's like meditation for me. I feel it in my body. I feel it on my tongue. I hold it. I feel the warmth. So it's about just being present, and I can really turn anything into a meditation. Obviously, I meditate a lot, little exercises, but one of my favorite routines that I teach a lot of people as well, and I actually just did a video about it. It's super easy. If you don't have 1 minute for yourself, you don't have a life. So take
Mm-hmm.
1 minute in the morning and envision an emotion: love, peace, kindness, joy, whatever. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to feel it through your body and feel it through and through. And what does love feel like? And just
Mm-hmm.
radiate in love for 1 minute. And that's it. And it just sets your day up for success. And for me, most of the time in the morning, I resonate with love and my highest self. I'll do a meditation on connecting to my highest self and what she feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just really simple. And then in the evening, I need to settle down before bed. No technology, bath, book, journal, breathing. And it comes back to my mission of life of just connecting with self. If you're not connected to yourself, you can't connect to others and you can't provide value. And when you're connected to yourself, you know the next best step, what's right for you. And so if we get caught in the chaos of the world, it's just going to disconnect us from our purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
so figure out what makes you feel good and just do one of those things every day.
And not try to do all of those things. I love
Yeah.
make the alignment list and do whatever you have time for. You don't have to have the bath and then do your essential oils routine and then do your skincare routine and then meditate and then dry breath. Like, it's okay
Yeah.
to have such a diligent routine, especially as things are shifting. This is a great time to re-examine your routine and pick and choose what's going to make you feel good today versus what made you feel good last week or 2 weeks ago.
Totally. And I don't know about you, my internal self, she is so stubborn. So if
Yeah.
you give her 5 things to do, she's just going to be like, no, I don't want to
No.
do any of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
So
you do nothing at all.
yeah, exactly. So I'm just like super kind and easy with her. I'm like, do whatever the heck you want. I don't care. Just feel good. That's all
Mm-hmm.
I got to do.
Yeah. So, final question here. I'm going to assume that learning and growing is something that you are always doing as a business owner and as an entrepreneur. So, my question for you is, if we have to isolate and sequester for the next 60 days, what is one skill that you would like to learn or one skill that you would like to grow
Oh, this is good because
upon?
I want to add something to that because I self-isolated probably about 4 years ago on my own.
Okay,
And
cool.
I literally self-isolated to get through the feeling of loneliness. And it was the most
Cool.
powerful thing I ever could have done because it brought me into awareness of presence and like realizing that loneliness was just an emotion that
Mhm.
I could get through, and I chose presence over loneliness. And I share that because it might resonate with a lot of you listening. Right now, where I'm at right now, every day scares the shit out of me, and I'm learning every day. I mean, right
Yeah.
now I'm just trying to learn my email and like ConvertKit and try to figure out what the heck how to do this. Right? I think you probably see this too every day. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just try to figure it out every day.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning something every day. So right now I'm focusing on launching my course and learning my emails.
Amazing.
Those are super tech, super specific, but I'm always, from a personal development side, just always looking at how to continue not being reacting to
Yeah.
things, and how to continue feeling good and being my best. Because when I'm my best, nothing matters. Like, I really ask myself in those moments, like, who cares? Like, nobody really cares about anything. It's just like, how do I feel good? So I'm always connecting to those two things in my business and in myself.
Mm, so good, and an amazing way to end the podcast. I had no idea that you did a self-isolation willingly many years ago.
Yeah.
So you're probably navigating this time with ease. And I think it's truly a gift to spend more time just like reconnecting with who we are and what we want. And yeah, it's been so wonderful to chat with you. And I know the listeners are going to find so much benefit in the wisdom that you share. And I'm sure they want to know more about you and the services that you offer. So could you just let us know where to find you and how we can get in touch?
Yeah, so if you want to join the ladies community, you can find us on Instagram at the ladies community, or our website at the ladies community. And then our Facebook group is the ladies community global. So you can join, it's free. We have tons of free resources. Every week we have free online workshops. Kelsey's done some as well.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow me personally, and or I always offer free consultation coaching calls, you can go to vanessaortali.com, and or my Instagram is I am Vanessa O. So I am Vanessa O. And I always try to give mindset tips and videos to help navigate this time. So, and if there's anything you want to know, let me know. I'm happy to make a video about it.
I love that. So willing to give to your community. So that's amazing. And I will link all of that in the show notes. So thank you so much for being on the podcast today. And I hope that one day we will chat again when we're out of this craziness and on to the next chapter. So thanks, Vanessa.
Yeah, no, thanks so much, Kelsey. And just remember, if you're listening, like, you are not alone. You got
Mm.
this. This is such a good time to pivot and build that foundation. And thanks, Kelsey, for providing these resources and giving value to people who need it most right now.